Without further ado, can we give a warm welcome to Miss Roxann Corralejo?
Good morning and happy Taco Tuesday. Yes, it's Taco Tuesday and I love it. Buddy Lee's ridiculous with those photos. He likes to send them to me, but yeah, it's all about having fun and it's in good fun and I absolutely love it. I just want to give it back to you, Mr. Thomas. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. And so that is something I did want to talk about was our book club. Kind of my topic today is leading into that because last week, do you remember what we talked about last week, you guys? In the chat. Kush is going through his notes. I'm just going to let y'all know because it might take y'all a minute to get there, but it's about being intentional. That was kind of the main focus last week is being intentional about what we do and everything that we do. And to be that person of intention. Doesn't matter if it's ACN, in your work life, in your family life, in relationships, we got to be intentional about everything. So I always was intentional about being in the room. Do you know your numbers? Yes, that's part of it. Do you know your numbers? Absolutely. So I always made it a point to make sure I was in the room. People always said, hey, I want a seat at that table. How do I get a seat at that table? And I'm like, hey, I just want to be in the background. I don't even care. I don't even need the table. Eventually I'll get there. But how do you get there is by observing, right? So how do you get in the room? I've always made sure any competition that was put on that I was a part of. I was interactive, I was responsive. I wanted to make sure people knew who I was. And that was how I was going to get to the position that I needed to be. So, one of the things we talked about also is your Zoom calls. These calls, it's so important to be intentional about these because, yes, being on, are you listening? Are you taking notes? Those things, but who's watching you? Who's seeing you every single day? How are people going to know your faces if your cameras aren't on? So, how do you get in the room? When you get in the room, do you turn your back and you face the wall and people just see the back of your head? No, y'all, we're in the room with Mr. Al Thomas right now. Imagine being just sitting there next to him. I know at conventions, everybody wants to see him. We all pile in. Where's Mr. Thomas going to be? Let's see where he's going to be at. Let's hang out with him, just see what he has to say, these conversations. But we have him right here and we're taking it for granted. So, on that point of being intentional on how we're showing up, is it starts here with Zoom. But also, I was listening to something, Gary Vee, y'all know he's one of my faves, and he had mentioned it was a reel that he put on, and someone was asking him a question. It was a podcast, and he said, "Hey, how do I get some of these high-end speaking gigs? Like I'm having trouble doing these speaking gigs. I'm not getting them, and I want to know how I can get them." And he's asking, "Well, okay, to get to the high end, you got to start at the low end. Like how many low end speaking gigs are you doing right now?" And he's like, "Right now, I'm not really doing any. I have a few people asking me for requests in my inbox." And he was like, "You got to humble yourself." How do you get those high end jobs is that people will see you at the low end. He goes, "I will still, if anybody asks me to speak, I will go. It doesn't have to be a high end speaking gig. I will go. I will serve. I will be part of that community because you never know who's watching." But no matter what, I'm always that yes girl. Mr. Thomas asked me to do something. Absolutely, sir. Where can I be? Where do I got to go? When can I plug in? Now, sometimes I do have scheduling conflicts, and I will say that. And I'm a woman of my word. No matter what, I cannot cancel something to be on another call as much as I want to be on his. But outside of that, I'm absolutely in. So he asked me to be on this book club panel. I've never been on it before. I don't know what to expect. It's just conversations, asking questions. And I'm like, hey, as long as I read the book, I should be fine, right? So he did mention we're reading this book, Beach Money. We're discussing the book. And on top of discussing the book, it's also discussing the author, Jordan Adler. So, because these are his experiences and his transparency and all that stuff. They didn't tell us until after the call yesterday that he was on the call. So, you guys, if you're not thinking, like I said, outside the box or throw away the box, that was the way I got in the room. I would have never. Now, Jordan Adler might recognize my face somewhere because he's seen it before on Mr. Thomas's call. So if I go into a room and I introduce myself to him, he might be like, "Hey, you look familiar." Absolutely. You saw me on Mr. Al Thomas's call talking about your book. How great is that we can get in a room and don't actually have to physically be there? But that's because I act with intention. I'm being intentional on making sure I get out there and people see me and branding myself. That's what every business has to do. And that's what you guys should be doing. And it starts by putting your stinking cameras on. That's something that's so small. How we do one thing is how we do everything. And if you can't do that, you see Mr. Eric Everett, he's driving. He's driving, he's working, and he has his camera on. Debbie says she's driving too. Oh, I do see the steering wheel. Absolutely. Now, sometimes we always can't have it. I get that. But there are some people that always have it off. Always. Just to show that they're on. But let's just do something. Oh, there we go. Hi, Raina. I see you. I see these cameras popping on now too. They're like, oh, dang. Okay, okay, Roxann, you got me. But that is how, to be honest, I got to be on this virtual stage with you guys. That's it. Nothing special about me. And Mr. Thomas will say different, but there really isn't. It's because I got an opportunity to be here in front of the virtual room with you guys. And guess what? I felt like I sucked the very first time. I didn't know what I was doing. I was freaking out. I still freak out sometimes. I got to make sure I have my notes and everything going. But it's that practice. It's what you're going to do to be there. Are you prepping for these moments? We've had that conversation before where I said, hey, what if for some reason that the guest speaker wasn't on? Oh my gosh, and that did happen once. The guest speaker wasn't on. And Mr. Thomas said, okay, well, we got Roxann on the call. What's up? Are you prepared for those moments? You have to be. That's part of being intentional. So today I want to talk about impact. Impact is huge. Impact is going to be huge this year. We have no idea how big. Most of us don't even have any idea how big this is going to be. And I keep saying that, but I really, truly don't know why, because we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen, we know the potential of it. But what we have coming up is a big thing, and we don't want to miss out. And we talk about being intentional about these things. Are you being intentional about impact? Are you talking to people? Are you prepared? And what I mean by that is I went and I talked and I said, hey, yeah, at a networking event. And I want to go through with you guys some of my scripts. So again, I'm telling you ahead of time, if I'm going to go over what I'm talking about, you want to pull out a device and probably record it, right? Part of being intentional. Are you recording these things? Do you go back and you listen, or do you try to commit it to memory? Because that's not going to work. You can't write as fast. I will say one of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm on these calls or any calls and people always ask, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that again? Can you repeat it again? Yo, be prepared. Stop interrupting a presenter in the middle of their flow. Like, I'm like, no, he's on a roll. Let him go. Mr. Thomas, just preach. I will go back and I will listen to it later. I will take the notes. I will do everything I have to do, but go, because you're on a roll and I don't want to interrupt you. So make sure you're prepared. But I was asked to speak to a group of people, which I should be doing this Friday for a business. The business owner said, hey, I don't provide insurance for my employees, but I want them to know what's available. I still want to be able to do that for them. We're not at a place to cover it for them, but I want them to know that they have options and what's out there. I want to make sure they're covered. Why? Because if an employee gets sick, that also dips into the bottom line for the employers also. So they want to make sure that they're covered. And so I'm coming in, and are you guys prepared if someone were to ask you and you're talking about impact and they said, hey, can you come in and talk to my employees this afternoon? Would you guys know how to talk to them? Would you know how to present impact properly? Do you have documentation to hand out? Anything we find through our back office, have you printed flyers? Do you have a PowerPoint presentation built from the flyers, the legitimate good one? Definitely has to fit guidelines, you guys. I'm not telling you to make up something, but it's out there for us to grab them. Have you sat and talked to Eileen Ryan and introduced yourself to her? Or Miranda, the new, what is it, our Teladoc person? These are things I am consistently intentional about. Why? Because I want them to know me. When Miss Eileen Ryan walks up behind me, I don't even see her, and she goes, hey, Roxann, how's everything going? I did my job. Because I want to know what's coming up. I want to be in the know. What's so cool is that, yes, I've had that opportunity to build a relationship with one of the co-founders, and it was so funny because we were in Dallas at an Emerge event, and he goes, oh my gosh, Roxann, I got to tell you, and he's looking around, we have this new technology that's coming out, and he goes, oh, I can't say anything yet. He goes, okay, you can't tell anybody. It's super cool. But you know what? I gotta go, but we'll talk later. We'll talk later. He's so excited about this AI that they just launched. He almost spilled the beans. But it's because I made sure I build that relationship at these events. I made sure I stand out. I made sure I introduce myself. And I don't just introduce myself and take pictures because that's what everyone does. Hey, can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture? Stand out and be different. Ask questions. Ask them questions like, hey, I want to put a meeting together in my my city. There's nothing going on. What would the number one suggestion that you would give to me? Or, man, what was the number one fear you guys had starting ACN? Just ask them things that other people won't so that you stand out. And why is it so important to stand out is because we get to be in the know, we get to be in the room, we get to level up our circle. That was my whole point is I wanted to level up my circle. How do I get there? I can't walk up to someone like Mr. L. Thomas and be like, "Hi, can we be friends?" I mean, I could do that to everyday people, but that's a little awkward, right? Their schedule's busy. What's so great about these leaders is they love pouring into people, but they hate wasting their time. Don't be that person where they feel like they're wasting their time. Be that person where if they're giving you information, take it, run with it. If they ask you, did you end up doing this that they asked you to do, or said, hey, this is what got me to where I got to be? I had to make a list of 100 people, and they see you at the next event and they say, hey, did you make that list of 100 people? No, I haven't done that yet. Wait a minute. That was like 6 months ago. 6 months and you still didn't even put your list together? What the heck is happening? So be intentional about our actions. Where are we on time? Okay, pretty good. So my whole point in saying that is because I wanted to cover some of these things that I've been doing with impacts that have been working in getting me in front of people. They're working on getting me to get that information to people. My whole goal is not to sign anybody up. My goal is to be that information center. And that's where people are coming to me because I'm just delivering the information. The number one thing was the CNBC article that has been out there. You guys probably see it in group messages and stuff like that. Actually, Miss Eileen Ryan actually sent it to me. It's that CNBC article. You can look it up. It's talking about, I'll give you the title just so that you can look it up. Where is it? Who did I send it to here? It says why 22 million people may see a sharp increase in health insurance premium in 2026. That was the direct one that I got from the VP of operations with Impact. So what's so great in having a third party article is because it's not from us. It's not from insurance companies. It's not from anybody. It's just a news outlet letting people know what's going on in education. That's one of the tools that I use when I talk to people and say, hey, did you hear about how with the Affordable Care Act and people getting all of these their subsidies, they're lowering the government subsidies, which is ridiculous. So if anybody gets these tax breaks on their insurances, it's going to change drastically. And some people are like, what? I haven't heard about that. Oh my gosh, I have a CNBC article. Do you want me to go ahead and send it to you? Yeah, I need to know. That's my first touch with people sometimes. Just educating them. When we come in and we talk about what we do, they want to learn more information, but are you providing valuable information or are you trying to sell them? If you're trying to sell them, they're going to walk away. You're going to lose more than anything because they don't feel, what is that? People don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care and truly being genuine about it. But then I'm also making sure I'm visible at these networking meetings. Why? Oh my gosh, I have several forms here. Here's one. It's blurred, so you can't see faces and names and numbers. But they have faces, they have occupation, they have what they do for a living, their phone numbers, everything in one of my networking groups. And I have another one that has like 40 names and numbers on them. So I go into a room, there's 40 people in this room that I get to connect with. And I have their information. I collect their information, but I make that one-on-one conversation with them as well. Super short. Again, we're not selling them. We just tell them what we do. So one of these things, BNI is a huge one. We talk about BNI all the time because it just the way that it's structured. The way that it's yes, some people say, oh my gosh, I was talking to someone, they're like, man, I would do BNI, but it's so expensive. And I'm like, if you can't invest in your business, then what are you doing? This is a team of 40 people that could be selling you, and you think it's so expensive? Come on. We can get 100 customers out of it. That one actually, He has 8 employees. That one business owner has 8 employees that he's putting me in front of this Friday, came from a BNI. He just said, hey, I want you to come in and talk to my employees. That's 8 potential customers. But then I was at another BNI where I met an amazing woman with New York Life. She loves it. She's automatically already, oh my gosh. So we just sat down and she was like, no, no, no. I was really interested in what this can do for my people, my customers, because she does life insurance and financial advising as well. She was just saying, hey, I want to know what this could do for my people, for my customers. I talked to her a little bit about impact and how we can implement this in something as a referral basis. And she said, wait a minute, this sounds great for me. I do a lot of holistic stuff. $1,100 a month she spends. We got her a quote for a family of 4, 605. She's a numbers lady because she's doing investing. So she does the numbers, including the deductibles and the health and wellness credit. She does all that work, not me. And she said, oh my gosh, I'm saving over $8,000 for the year. 8,000. She goes, that's a vacation fund. When I talk to my people, that's $8,000 for the year that they can put into an IRA. She's thinking forward just because all I'm doing is sharing the information. I did not try to sell her. So I digress a little bit. Sorry. Going into like a BNI, doing your elevator pitch. Stories sell. Stories sell. Facts tell, stories sell. Come in with a story. Again, be memorable, be intentional. Have that upbeat energy. You get 30 to 45 seconds, sometimes 60, depending on the group. Make sure you have those pitches ready. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you're not selling. So I said this before, the beginning of my elevator pitch, which everybody loves, and they never forget my name. They are actually like, hey, hey, tell her your name. And I say Roxann, they're like, no, 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 like you do it in BNI. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So again, my name, I'm Lucky. I just come in and I say, good morning, everybody. My name is Roxann. It catches everyone's attention. They're on their phones, they're writing, they're doing whatever they got to do. They're looking up and they're like, holy cow, who is this girl? So I start with my name. Then it talks about your business. I do not say impact. I don't, because people will go, they'll Google it, they'll do whatever we got to do. And again, I'm branding me, brand you. This is your brand. So I start with my name. I offer an integrative healthcare solution. How many of us, and I ask a question, sometimes it's just a question where they start putting themselves in my shoes. How many of us have a gym membership? How many of us get massages? How many of us go to a chiropractor, acupuncture, buy protein, vitamins? Anybody do any of this? Please put your hands up. Hands are going up. And I say, okay, keep your hands up if your insurance gives you credit for any of these. They're like, wait a minute. And everyone's hands go down because they don't. That is a way I'm grabbing attention. And I just say, we offer a health and wellness credit that you can put some of these expenses, these everyday expenses, towards your healthcare costs to help bring some of these expenses down. Let me know how I can help or if there's anybody you know that I can support. That's it. That is it. That's one pitch. That's one pitch. Another elevator pitch is just talking about their these government subsidies going down. Insurance prices are seeing that they're going to lose customers, so they're raising prices. 22 million from that article, 22 million people may be outpriced of their health care. Let's have a conversation. I want to get to know you and see how I can refer you business, but I want you to also be educated and let you know how you can help your customers as well. That's one pitch. Super short, super precise. And sometimes we have again stories. I'll have a story. Again, I say my name, innovative healthcare solution. We offer an innovative healthcare solution that works independently or without traditional insurance. Sometimes that's what I say. It's never the same, y'all. If you come in and say the same thing over and over, that's what drives me bonkers. Is some of these people will have the same pitch every week. Kush is like, yep, I see it. How many of you guys tune those out? I'm like, oh, this person's talking. Okay, let me take notes. Let me respond to this text message because it's the same thing every single time. So then a story. I tell a story. I say, man, we offer an integrative healthcare solution. What's so great is we do not deny coverage as long as it fits within our guidelines. Anybody have an issue with prescriptions being denied, having to pay out of pocket, a procedure being denied, having to fight for it? Do you know anybody that has had that happen? Unfortunately, I had a friend of mine whose daughter had severe seizures, really bad seizures. This medication was the only thing that kept her seizures under wraps. So we're talking about over 100 seizures a day. Her poor little body couldn't take it. And all of a sudden, she goes to fill this prescription, just a normal day, nothing crazy going on. And the pharmacist said it's no longer covered. She has to pay $3,000 out of pocket. Thankfully, they were able to do that. Lots of fighting with the insurance to get that back. But how many families can pay $3,000 for a life saving prescription for her 9-year-old daughter? This is stuff that has to change. This is stuff we're changing with this integrative healthcare solution. Let me share with you how we can do that on a one-to-one. Please reach out. If I have a full 60 seconds, I will tell a story, y'all. I'll tell a story that's heartfelt. I'll tell a story that's true. You guys don't make up stuff. That's true. Because that is how we're going to, if you are not focused on impact, you guys, we are doing our friends and our family and our community disjustice because it is such a big thing. And I will come in and talk about telehealth one day. Most insurance company will not cover therapy sessions because of the fact that it's considered a pre-existing condition. But guess what? Our new Teledoc platform that's launching next month will cover 3 therapy sessions a month. Please let me know if you know someone that's having trouble getting themselves or their children into a therapist, and let me know how I can help. There's another pitch. So what we're doing in these is we're being specific. We're being specific so people can start thinking. If you come in and you say, hey, I offer a healthcare solution. If you know anybody that pays too much for health insurance, let me know. I mean, it's a pitch, but it's not an effective one because you're widening. They don't know what their friends and family are paying for health insurance. How many people talk about that? How many people know what you pay for your bills? Let's think about that. Nobody knows. Nobody should know. But if you're specific in the fact that you know that someone goes to the gym all the time and they say, you know what, I have a friend, because on all these networking groups, they want to make these connections. They want to make these referrals because they know the more referrals you send them, the more you're going to send. The more referrals they send you, the more you will send them, right? My brain just did a little cartwheel in my head. So they want to send you referrals, help them on who would be the best candidate. Because when we're talking about healthcare, people are going to say, oh man, my friend is super sick. They need surgery and their health insurance won't cover it. Well, that is not a good candidate for us. But you're allowing them to think who might be a good candidate. You tell them who to look for. You tell them who to keep top of mind. I can't tell you, there are so many people that I'm getting referrals from that aren't even a customer. Why? Because I'm not focused on selling them. But they are sending me more referrals than the people I know super close because they know they want to help their customers. They want to help their friends and their family. And because I've been specific on how impact can impact some of these lives. So you guys, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully we're still planning and thinking of ways of how to be intentional. Ask ChatGPT, y'all. That's what I do on our posts. This new ACN AI, all that is to help us be intentional on our posts. I had someone, actually, I think I have a few seconds. Okay, I'm done here, but let me tell this quick story. So I do have a gentleman who I was speaking to. I presented the opportunity to. It wasn't for him at that time, whatever reason. And then find out he signs up into another network marketing company with the patches, right? That happens. People get upset when that happens. Did I get mad? I said, absolutely not. I said, that is awesome. Congratulations. I'm so excited. It's such a great industry. I can't wait for the replay. Oh, thanks, Kush. It's such an exciting industry. When's your next meeting? And he tells me, how many people have you invited? So now I'm coaching him. I'm coaching him how to build his network marketing company that is not mine. He is not partnered up with me, but I'm still supporting him. right? I'm still there for him. How can I support you? I am so excited for you. And so what does he do? He goes, "Man, how do I refer this impact to more people?" And he actually sends me a post that he sends out, and I adjust it a bit, and I say, "Hey, this would be a better post," and I send it to him. And he says, "You know what I'm doing here is I'm preparing for when I'm actually signing when I'm actually selling impact," is what he said. And I kind of smiled. I sent a little smiley emoji, and I'm like, "I know, because I've been building this in you for a month already." He sees the support he gets from me as opposed to the support he's currently getting in his leadership. Guess who he's going to want to be with no matter what the heck I'm selling, right? We just have the privilege and honor to have such an amazing product. It blows everybody out of the water. But y'all are thinking that, okay, it's such an amazing product, everybody has to sign up with it and sign up in ACN, and it's the best thing ever, and you get so upset when people aren't doing it. It's you that they're buying, not the products. We are just honored to have an awesome product, but it's you. So be intentional about everything that you do, everything that you say, every message you send out, every post that you do, your appearance, how you look. I'm intentionally, it's low, wearing a Vivint shirt. I'm promoting Vivint today. And then when I go out to these networking meetings, I look nice. I dress nice. I people want to put me in front of their employees. Alrighty, y'all. I'm getting tongue tied here. I'm just too excited. There's so much going on, but stop selling people. Be intentional about actually helping people because we have something that can make such a huge difference in people's lives, not only saving money. So stop focusing on the saving part, even though that's great. This woman, her main idea wasn't saving. She wasn't more excited about saving 8 grand a year. She was more excited about the vacation she could spend with her family by switching to impact. All right, y'all, that's it for today. Can't wait to see y'all next week. Let's get busy and let's get some more impact customers. Start sharing it and stop selling it.